Cain's wife. Where did she come from? It's one of the most common questions skeptics ask. If Adam and Eve were the first humans and Cain killed Abel, where did Cain get his wife? The Bible tells us that Adam and Eve had two sons, Cain and Abel. After Cain murders his brother, he's cast out and settles in the land of Nod. Then comes the curious line, and Cain knew his wife. Genesis 4:17. Wait, who is this wife? Where did she come from? Was there another race of people? Did God create others besides Adam and Eve? Today on Bible Mysteries, we explore one of the oldest human questions hidden in Scripture. Who was Cain's wife? To understand the mystery, we need to review the early Genesis narrative. Genesis 1 through 3 tells us that God created Adam and Eve, placing them in the Garden of Eden. They sinned, were cast out, and began to have children. Genesis 4 tells the story of Cain and Abel. Cain kills Abel out of jealousy and is cursed to wander. He fears being killed by others, and God places a mark on him for protection. Then Genesis 4:17 says, "And Cain knew his wife, and she conceived and bare Enoch." So where did this wife come from? Some readers assume the presence of Cain's wife implies the existence of other humans God created separately from Adam and Eve. But Genesis 3:20 clearly states, "And Adam called his wife's name Eve, because she was the mother of all living." This implies that all humans descended from Adam and Eve, which would mean Cain's wife had to be a relative. Genesis 5:4 gives us a crucial detail. "And the days of Adam, after he had begotten Seth, were 800 years, and he begat sons and daughters." Adam and Eve had many children, not just Cain, Abel, and Seth. The Bible doesn't record all of them by name, but they formed the early human population. Yes, and that's the most widely accepted biblical explanation. Cain most likely married either a sister or possibly a niece, one of Adam and Eve's daughters or granddaughters. This idea feels uncomfortable to modern ears, but in the early world, it would have been necessary to populate the earth. The genetic line was still pure, and the Mosaic laws against incest didn't exist yet. They wouldn't be given for over 2,000 years. See Leviticus 18. Abraham, centuries later, even married his half-sister Sarah, Genesis 20:12, and it wasn't condemned at the time. Genesis 4:16 says, "Then Cain went out from the presence of the Lord and dwelt in the land of Nod, east of Eden." Some believe this implies a populated region, suggesting Nod had people for Cain to fear or interact with. But Nod simply means wandering. It's possible that the land of Nod wasn't a city or nation, it was just a region Cain settled in after being exiled. When Cain says, "Whoever finds me will kill me," it doesn't necessarily mean there were other created races. He may have been afraid of his future siblings or nephews seeking revenge. Remember, Adam and Eve lived hundreds of years and had many descendants in a short span of time. Some ask why the Bible doesn't name Cain's wife if she was significant, but early Genesis focuses on key figures, not every family member. Many women and men are unnamed if they don't play a direct role in the covenant story. The same is true of other ancient genealogies. The emphasis was on tracing the line to Noah, then to Abraham, and ultimately to Christ. Here are a few alternate ideas that have been proposed, though they're not widely accepted by mainstream Christian theology. 1. Pre-Adamic races. Some propose that other humans existed before or apart from Adam. This theory often ties into ideas about a gap between Genesis 1:1 and 1:2, or that Adam was just the first spiritual man. However, this contradicts Romans 5:12. By one man, sin entered into the world. Scripture is clear. All humanity descends from Adam. No parallel race of humans is ever mentioned. 2. Symbolic reading. Some scholars argue the early Genesis chapters are theological allegory, not historical narrative, and the question of Cain's wife is therefore not literal. While this view is held in some academic circles, it's not supported by the rest of Scripture, which consistently treats Adam, Eve, Cain, and Abel as real people. See Luke 3:38, Hebrews 11:4, 1 John 3:12. So why does this question matter? Because it's about trusting the consistency of Scripture. The Bible doesn't contradict itself. It just doesn't always tell every detail. Cain's wife doesn't appear out of nowhere. She's likely one of the many daughters of Adam and Eve. This story also helps us understand the early human population came from a small family. God's moral laws developed over time. Biblical genealogies are focused and purposeful. Rather than disproving Scripture, Cain's wife actually confirms the biblical framework of early humanity.